Frank. Nice to meet you. I'm Taylor Nicey. I'm an enrollment specialist at the Brampton campus, and it's so lovely to have you here today on the Algoma University Professor Spotlight to speak a little bit more about our music program. So I want to pass it over to you and ask if you could introduce yourself and give us a little insight into who you are and what led you to the position that you're in now.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me, Taylor. Nice to meet you too. And yeah, I'm Frank Deresti, and I'm an adjunct professor in the music department at Algoma University. How I got here, almost 20 years ago now, I was hired to teach a couple of guitar students and a small jazz ensemble. So I didn't really know if I was going to be sticking around or not. But once I got here, I realized that there was a lot of opportunity to kind of to grow and maybe build something. And so I wound up having an opportunity to write a whole bunch of courses over the years. And so now I teach classes in jazz practicum, jazz theory and improv, pedagogy, music business, songwriting, as well as, sort of our guitar contingent has gone from, I think, 2 or 3 students my first year to I had about 21 this year. So it's been exciting. It's been kind of continuously growing and just been having a
Cool.
good,
Yeah,
yeah.
and hearing that you've gotten to write a few of the programs, the courses, you must have a favorite that you instruct.
Favorite questions are hard, eh? But I really do love all of it. I'd say if I had to pick a favorite class, it would probably be actually the first one that I was hired to do was just like coaching ensembles. It's just getting people in a room together and like growing individually and collectively in pursuit of, something bigger than oneself is that never gets old for me. And yeah, otherwise I'd say not so much a subject, but an idea is a lot of what I do in my classes is taking theoretical information and sort of as immediately as possible turning that into individual creative expression. So it's not just, it's not you take information from a book, but then you're doing it on your instrument and with each other, and that's really kind of an exciting thing. It's a sort of applied theory, I guess you'd say. And so that's kind of the guiding principle of, say the jazz practicum class, where you're learning a lot about theory, but you're really just becoming more comfortable as an improviser and creator of music, or the songwriting class where you're learning about how lyrics and music work together, but then by the end of it you have a body of work. You're putting out a songwriting portfolio. So that's an exciting place to be in, to help students to transfer that from the theoretical to the very real and creative.
Yeah, and I imagine too, and watching your students go from first year all the way through, the amount that they develop and grow is just lovely to see in their as a person and in their work.
Yeah, I just had a student. I mean, this is a different sort of year, so there's a lot less sort of live interaction. But normally, when you're graduating, often students will choose to do like a graduating concert, and that's always a big moment, right? But I just had a student sort of submit the video equivalent of that, and it was just like, wow, this is how we're wrapping this up, like in an email, a Google Drive link. But it was interesting to sort of whenever that happens, you think back and like, wow, that guy learned a lot in the time, in the time that he was here,
Yeah.
and now he's got this body of work, and it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that is really exciting. Students love to hear about from successful people like yourself as well of what types of careers can come from this degree. I know that a lot of students probably on their mind have the track to be a musician, but maybe there's a few other careers you could touch upon as well.
Sure, yeah. It's a huge field actually. There's a lot of I mean, obviously a lot of people go into music because they want to perform.
Mhm.
And so, when they're finished here, they'll go on and they'll continue to study. That's like a lifelong pursuit. You're continually learning and kind of changing. And often that performance career will lead you to other places as well. Teaching is a big one. A lot of our students continue on into like a Bachelor of Education program and then pursue careers in the school system. Others might start their own private teaching studios and build a career as, as an individual instrumental teacher plus a performer. Or you might get more into the music business end of things where you might be a manager or a publicist. Film music is a big field right now, both on the creative end and the more administrative music supervisor end of things. And then a lot of people, with in a liberal arts context where you're focused on music, you're exercising your brain in so many creative ways that lends itself well to less obvious careers as well. When you're studying music, it's just your brain is busy and you learn a lot of creative problem solving. You're simultaneously rational and emotive, or analytical and creative. You're responding to visual and oral cues all the time, and so this skill set can set you up. We've had students that have come through here, and then they continue on, and now they're lawyers, or they're in medicine, and it's just kind of good training for just about anything. The way that you're team building and problem solving, just thinking creatively. Probably everybody should study music at some point. That's my opinion.
Would you say that a lot of students choose to pair the music program with a specific minor?
Um, I not so much the specific minor. No, I mean in my experience, it's really all over the map. You know, from the other arts to sciences to visual art. Yeah, we've had just about every kind of pairing you can imagine, I think.
When I was in university, one of my good friends, she was in the music program, but she chose to pair it with a business minor, and in hopes of like starting her own business. So wanted to get skills on both of those sides. So I thought that was an interesting pairing.
Yeah, it's a really smart pairing because, to a lot of times building a career in music really requires you to have a business sense. Like that sort of there's a really dated stereotype, I think, of like the artist who can't be bothered with the business and can't handle their own finances or any, and that really doesn't really work very well in,
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna smash that stereotype. Do you have any advice for students who are considering this degree?
yeah. Yeah, I'd say if you're gonna do a music degree, um, put yourself in it, like be present, sort of the more you get into it, the more you get out of it. When
Mhm.
you're surrounded with opportunities to really grow and learn and develop, but you've got to seek it out and sort of accept it. And not just from your professors or your instructors, but other students too, like just getting with people and making music and seeing what other people are into, and you'll just be exposed to things that you had no idea even existed, right? As if you put yourself right in it and sort of take advantage of that time. So that would be a big one, and just fill up your toolbox as much as possible because you never know what's going to come in handy down the road. And
Mhm.
then probably the last thing, but maybe the most important thing, would be just to remember that the verb that we use for what we do with music is to play. And so when you're in the thick of it, we get so focused on the work, and the work is really important so that you can play better. But at the end of the day, you've got to play. It sounds better when it's fun, I think. So
Yeah, it definitely is something that when you're passionate about it, it really shows through.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, moving on to talk a little bit about your time at Algoma as an instructor, I was wondering, why do you love instructing at Algoma specifically? Is it small class sizes, community? I'm sure you have a lot of reasons.
Yeah, there's a lot to love. I mean, we're based at the Sault Ste. Marie campus, and Sault Ste. Marie is a great place geographically to be inspired. Like we're surrounded by, just pretty inspiring landscape, a lot of inspiring people. So that's a big thing. And then yeah, we're a small program in a small school, and
Mhm.
so we really get to know the students. There's a really personalized approach, and that's just endlessly rewarding to be able to kind of kind of tailor the program for each student, like really get to know them and have meaningful interactions and help students on their own individual path is a special part of our program, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So, to end this off, this interview, I like to ask all my professors, how do you bring the thunder, AKA, what makes your program at Algoma U so special? So, I want to throw that to you to
Well,
kick it off.
I mean, we've got a solid team in the music department. I mean, the people that I work with they just inspire me. They inspire me a lot, and they're all really dedicated to student success. Like it's a very student focused
Mhm.
program. Also within, within our group, there's everybody's got a completely different background, sort of different skill set, area of expertise. So that's great for students because they can be exposed to a lot of different options, a lot of different pathways. And we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun in our program, and there's a real sense of community here that I've felt the whole time. And that's really evidenced in in a normal year in our our gatherings like our ensemble concerts that we put
Mhm.
on, and both formal and informal performance situations, and it's a real community kind of vibe, and I think yeah, that's just a great thing to be a part of.
Yeah, yeah, and just build off of it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming and joining me today on the Algoma University Professor Spotlight, teaching me a little bit about the music program. I'm sure all of our future students will love to see this and meet you in the future and hear you play as well.
Great. Well, thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, awesome. Have a great day.
All right, you too.